I want to talk this week about the role of belief in politics, and specifically about how political journalists grapple, or fail to grapple, with the question of what politicians believe versus what they say. Often, if not most of the time, it's actually impossible to say with certainty that a politician genuinely believes something that they claim or stipulate to. I don't mean that in the metaphysical sense that, no one can peer into anyone else's mind. And I also don't mean that in a cynical way, all politicians are unprincipled. We can't know what they believe about anything. I think we can be generous and say that most Republicans genuinely do believe that abortion is bad, and that most Democrats generally do believe that the right to abortion is good. But on any passing controversy, it's a mistake to say Republicans or Democrats believe X. And I'd argue this is particularly true of Republicans, who as a party are just less beholden to independent expertise or fact-checking or anything that enforces consistency of any kind. And yet, quite often, mainstream news reporters will ascribe authenticity to various sentiments that the people who they cover say they hold. So, for instance, they'll say Republicans believe that Donald Trump beat Joe Biden, or Republicans believe that Democrats treated Kevin McCarthy dismissively, or Republicans believe that charges against Donald Trump are politically motivated. So those are all obviously just claims. And more likely than not, the people who articulate them don't actually believe what they're saying. Or at the very least, they aren't particularly concerned with what the truth is. And as a rule, I think outlets are most prone to expressing this kind of factual certainty about what exists only within the minds of politicians when the underlying implication is a positive one, right? So-and-so believes something. He has conviction. It matters to him. Or so-and-so is outraged by something or other. He is passionate. Something wrong must have happened. By contrast, getting those same reporters to assert that the same politicians that they're covering lied, it's like this impossible task. There's a whole discourse within the media around whether political journalists should ever assert that a politician is lying. And it took someone who lies as promiscuously as Donald Trump to get those outlets to begin reluctantly employing the term, because they realized he knew that he was saying things that were false. So at a bedrock level, we know that journalists aren't being consistent about this philosophical challenge of trying to ascertain what people truly feel in their hearts. So that by itself is enough of a reason for them to internally police their own tendency to assert, for instance, Republicans believe Joe Biden is up to no good, when it would be much more accurate to say Republicans claim to believe Joe Biden is up to no good without evidence.